In the more than 2 years that passed following the 2023 confession and Victor Weldon's guilty plea, case records we obtained show no action by the solicitor's office to set Michael Pearson free.
Pearson ain't had nothing to do with this. He's an innocent man sitting in jail right now, is what you're telling me.
Yeah.
Third Circuit Solicitor Chip Finney had to know of Michael Pearson's innocence at least as early as March 2023. His own investigator heard Victor Weldon not only confess to his role in the Slick Gibbons ambush, but he listed names of the 3 others involved. How you doing, Mr. Pearson?
All right. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
All right.
And the solicitor also knew Michael Pearson wasn't even there.
The man telling you the truth. I ain't had nothing to do with it. I done did 15 years of my life. 13 years of my life. And I didn't know nothing about that. I'm glad he stepped up and tell y'all the truth that I didn't do it, because I don't know his family. I don't know him.
Pearson found out about Weldon's confession in this July 2023 interview with a solicitor's office investigator. He's maintained his innocence from the start. We pulled his case file from the courthouse and found a handwritten letter Pearson wrote the clerk in 2013, a year after his trial and conviction. I ask that you please help an innocent man. I really had nothing to do with this bad situation, and my life is on hold, and the real criminals are still walking the street. And Pearson was right, and both law enforcement and the solicitor knew that in early 2023. Even the polygraphs Pearson and Weldon took supported the stories the men told. Both passed their lie detector tests with no deception indicated. In June 2024, Pearson, without an attorney, filed a second application for post-conviction relief, a move that could allow him a chance at a new trial or undo his convictions. Pearson continued sitting in prison, then saw an ad from the North Carolina Center on Actual Innocence pop up on his prison-issued tablet and asked Director Chris Muma for help. What did you think when you read that application?
Well, you know, it has the standard red flags that we run into, right? There was no defense put on a trial, so that's always concerning.
The center went to work. In June 2025, the center got Victor Weldon to sign an affidavit, again confessing his own guilt and reaffirming Michael Pearson's innocence. What's not in the public record? Evidence the solicitor made any formal move to free Michael Pearson. Not until the North Carolina Center on Actual Innocence stepped in.
Law enforcement knew there was a problem in this case. They already knew. And the solicitor wrote us and said, we're doing an investigation that there might be a possibility I could offer your client a reduced sentence. We said, well, we've got evidence of innocence. There's not going to be a reduced sentence if there's evidence of innocence. 60 days went by and we never heard from him again. And we were mystified on how they could have that much evidence of innocence, grant the man the plea, give him the plea deal that gets him out 40 years earlier, and yet not do anything for Michael. It was an egregious delay in justice.
Muma says one man with all the power to free Michael Pearson was at the center of the delay in doing so. That man is elected solicitor Chip Finney.
It never occurred to them he was going to say, listen, you convicted an innocent man. That backfired on them. When it backfired, they went through the steps of trying to prove he was wrong, and they kept getting more and more evidence of innocence. The pushback was, we don't even know whether these facts are true. You're alleging these things. You're alleging that Victor Weldon says these things. But those facts came from law enforcement. They were questioning the sheriff department's own investigation, not mine. And, you know, they found his statement to be truthful and gave him that benefit. So it just really mind-boggling to watch how this case unraveled, and they did nothing.
As the Center on Actual Innocence continued building its case to free Pearson, instead of helping formalize Pearson's innocence, Finney offered a deal. I requested that his client consider and agree not to return to Clarendon County upon his release, and that he would also agree to waive any civil damages claims against the victims or law enforcement. Attorneys immediately reported Finney and his offer to the Attorney General's office. Instead of going forward with a July hearing to free Pearson, the solicitor called the sheriff's office lead investigator, Captain Kenneth Clark.
Hey, Kenny Clark, this is Chip Finney. I think that hearing is going to be canceled. The lawyer and I are having difficulties with each other because I asked for those two requests about not suing us and not moving back to Clarendon, and he thinks that's illegal on my part. So I think we're going to cancel that hearing and let them fight it out in court at some other time.
Although he pitches it as a request to the Attorney General, we now know that he canceled the hearing where the conviction was going to be vacated after Michael said, no, I'm not taking conditions to get what I deserve in the justice system.
In August, the solicitor filed his request for a new trial for Michael Pearson. The following week.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Clarendon County. We are here on case number 2011 GS 14-068. This is the state of South Carolina versus Michael Wilson Pearson.
Pearson left prison for this hearing where Solicitor Chip Finney, for the first time since the Victor Weldon confession 2.5 years earlier, asked the judge to give Pearson a new trial. Why would it take 2.5 years to do what has finally happened now?
I don't think they ever would have done anything had we not gotten involved. Until we started doing our own investigation and pushing and saying, wait a minute, what about all this evidence? They had to react, and I don't think they would have otherwise.
Part of our investigation was pinpointing exactly when the solicitor knew there was evidence of Pearson's innocence and what he did when he found out. There was no better time to ask than minutes after that August 28th hearing ended. In March of 2023,
I'm not going to talk about the case because I've still got an investigation going on.
Okay.
And I don't want to talk about it until I have everything sealed tight and ready to go to court.
Well,
and I'll be ready to talk.
Well, just with respect to when you knew, when did you know?
I don't have any dates in my head like that. I'm not going to answer these off the record questions. If I had my file in front of me, I could maybe answer a question technically.
Well, we know what was just said in the hearing. I mean, this was just minutes ago.
Okay, well, if you heard something, then you can report that. But I didn't say it.
But for 2 years, is
I
it
didn't
fair to
say
say?
it, did I?
Did you know for
Thank
2
you
years?
for the question. I'm not going to answer any
When
questions
did you know of
at this
Mr.
time.
Pearson's
Thank
innocence?
you so much. Appreciate it.
Why won't you answer that question? Finney also never proclaimed Michael Pearson's innocence during that hearing. We have to assume that investigator communicated that back to the solicitor.
There's no doubt that at a minimum they knew in March of 2023 that there was credible evidence of Michael Pearson's innocence. If you couldn't remember the timeline, then he's got some intellectual disabilities that need to be addressed, because that was made very clear dozens of times.
See if you recognize anybody.
Remember that third Victor Weldon interview in April 2023? The one where he again confessed and picked out his co-conspirators' faces in lineups. Right there, sitting in the back corner of the room, was Solicitor Chip Finney. Can you identify the man in that photograph in the white shirt?
That's the solicitor.
So that is April the 20th of 2023, where he is in an interview room with Victor Weldon, while Weldon is telling these guys again that he was there, he was part of it, Pearson was not.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, he definitely knew.
Muma says the Attorney General's office had plenty of chances to catch this years ago. Instead of figuring out the truth behind Michael Pearson's convictions, Attorney General Alan Wilson and his office fought Pearson every step of the way through his appeals and every post-conviction relief application. So you think the Attorney General of the state of South Carolina could have caught this a decade ago?
I think so, yes. The red flags were there. It's not just bad luck for Michael, it's injustice over and over again, where the justice system was fighting against his innocence.
Well, who all these people is out here?
The judge set Pearson free on bond and ordered a new trial in that August hearing.
North Carolina Center on Actual Innocence was my last resort. They saw something in me. They felt something about the case, and they started digging themselves. Something the investigators never did. 15 years later, they're saying that they have the right people. That doesn't replace the 15 years they took from me.
But what did you really lose sitting in the penitentiary?
I lost my life, man. I could have been a productive citizen. I'm trying to be right now, but I could have had already established some things for my life. I could have had my own home. I could have had my own vehicles. God knows I could have had my own business started. Who knows? I had years to think about it. And it was strong the first year. I was wondering what I could do to turn this thing around. What needs to be done to get myself proven innocent.
How do you prove yourself innocent?
You don't. You got to get someone else to prove you're innocent.
In Michael Pearson's case,
Put your initial beside it.
that someone was Victor Weldon.
I thank him for what he did, but I'm also angry for what he did. He withheld information that would have saved me from going to prison for 15 years.
Pearson also still doesn't believe that was his fingerprint on the back of Slick Gibbons' truck. And if it was, he says there was a plausible explanation. He lived literally around the corner, yards away from Slick's auto parts store.
The man live a block of, it's a Chinese food connected to the man's store. I eat them. I walk from my house through the cut to go get Chinese food. I ain't paying no attention to the El Camino. I don't pay attention to none of that.
So you could have inadvertently touched.
I could have.
Investigators have never publicly disclosed identifying the people who left those other 4 prints at the crime scene.
They were saying Michael Pearson's thumbprint was found on this car.
He did it.
Yeah, he did this. I don't understand why that machine didn't clear me. I don't know why they make technology and don't want to use their knowledge.
Sumter Police Department's APHIS computer couldn't match Pearson's fingerprint in the nationwide database, but the department's analyst, Marie Hodge, testified she visually inspected the print taken from the El Camino and found 14 points that matched Pearson's right thumbprint.
Which was more accurate, the eye or the machine? If the machine was good enough to put someone in the penitentiary, why is it not good enough to let someone go?
Or keep them out of the...
keep them out of the jailhouse.
They knew 2+ years ago you didn't do this.
Right.
They even had the polygraph that showed you were telling the truth.
Right.
That Victor Weldon was telling the truth. Why did you serve another 2+ years?
That's a good question.
And Pearson doesn't think he'll ever forgive the solicitor or the system.
Chip Finney wasn't trying to help me get out of the penitentiary. The solicitor is supposed to help an innocent man, but he didn't try releasing me. He was trying to sweep me under the rug. When we was at court, he still didn't want to confess my innocence. With all the evidence mounted up against him, not against me, that he did wrong. I didn't do anything wrong. I spent 15 years of my life in the penitentiary, and I was wrong. And he will not confess to my innocence. He will not say that Michael Pearson did not do this.
On September 8th, 2025, the solicitor formally ended the prosecution of Michael Pearson. Without any public notice, Finney dismissed every charge, citing new evidence discovered. Nowhere does the solicitor mention that Michael Pearson was actually innocent.
With the attitude he has with the job, he doesn't like mistakes. And if he make a mistake, he like to cover it up.
You think he tried to cover this up?
Yes, he did.
Are you finding a system where people can't admit mistakes, and then when mistakes are found, they do everything in their power to not fix it?
In every case, and I can tell you that in the 25 years I've been doing this, it's gotten worse.
Does any of this meet the threshold of prosecutorial misconduct?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when you're talking about a violation of the written rules of professional responsibility in South Carolina, a clear violation, that is absolutely prosecutorial misconduct. Chip Finney took that last effort to save himself, not Michael Pearson.
If not for your center, where would Michael Pearson be today?
He would be in prison today.
What do you think the state of South Carolina should do with Solicitor Chip Finney?
I think he should be disbarred at a minimum. I think he should not be allowed to practice law in the state of South Carolina or anywhere else.
If you could sit down with Chip Finney today, what would you say to him?
I would want to know, how does he feel right now about the situation? I really want to know, do he have any remorse?
What do you think he feels?
I don't think he has any remorse.
What do you want people to remember about Michael Pearson?
That he was a fighter. He never quit. I'm a good person. I'm not the person that you thought I was.
Solicitor Chip Finney told me he expects to file new charges in the Slick Gibbons ambush. However, the solicitor has not yet charged any of the people Victor Weldon named in his confession, Kevin Millett, Leonard Smith, or whoever the man called Peanut is. Millett is already in prison on a gun and drug conviction, and Leonard Smith never responded to my attempts to reach him. I have confirmed through multiple sources a high-ranking court official filed a complaint against Solicitor Chip Finney with the South Carolina Supreme Court's Office of Disciplinary Counsel, the unit charged with investigating lawyers and judges. The Supreme Court would not confirm whether a complaint was filed or if the court opened an investigation. That's something state law keeps secret unless and until an allegation is sustained and the court hands down punishment. If nothing ever comes of the court's investigation, the complaint and investigation will remain secret forever. Our investigation is not over.
They had me scheduled to get out of prison 2043.
We uncovered another case where someone did not get a fair shot in the system, and the Attorney General's office fought to keep them imprisoned.
Do you guys mind if I ask him a question real quick?
We go deep into South Carolina to track the Attorney General down to ask questions he didn't want us asking.